Greetings, Kerbal Killers. Welcome. We have something massive on the pad. And I mean it literally. I've even asked a developer if he can write a mod to move the flagpole. We're getting a bit close to it. It is, of course, sat on the pad. Yes, unseen male. Sit on the pad and please stand by. As you can see on screen, we have the Delta V stats right here. And over here we have vessel mass 61.2 kilotons, and I believe that is the heaviest ever launched. Although I could be wrong, there could be another complete nutcase like me out there. Although I doubt it. Does this thing get into orbit? Yes it does, I've already sent one up. What is this thing for? It is an interplanetary mobile EPL platform. What is an EPL platform? Well, EPL is the Extraplanetary Launch Pads mod, which allows you to construct a vessel pretty much anywhere in the galaxy. So why not strap one of those pads to a rocket that is capable of getting anywhere within the galaxy? Or should I say Kerbalverse? Nah, we don't want to strap one on. We want to strap 8 of them on. Then we can build a whole fleet at the same time. Along with plenty of storage for rocket parts, atmospheric recyclers, and, well, this is interplanetary. So we also have space plasma collectors and its associated refinery. So as we're moving through space, we're collecting all that plasma, we're sorting it out into the respective goodies, like liquid fuel, oxidizer, monopropellant, oxygen, carbon dioxide, carbon, sulfur, nitrogen, all the building blocks we need. Although it's not entirely self-sufficient, it's got no food generation on there, but it's got plenty of food on board. Shall we take a look at the life support? Oh, it says it's pre-launch. Well, that's helpful. But we do have 20 crew, of which 19 are engineers. Courtesy of a mod by Oaktree42, fellow streamer. His very first mod is out, and it changes the astronaut complex. It now allows you to specifically hire pilots, scientists, engineers. You can set what level they are. You can set their courage, their stupidity, and whether they are fearless. And of course, the prices for these Kerbals are actually more reasonable. Without that mod, hiring 20 Kerbals would have taken probably 5 minutes or more. With the mod, it took me about a minute. One of my other ships, which is a Kerbal bus, has 68 Kerbals on board. That took me the best part of an hour to fill it with engineers. With Oaktree's mod, You probably do it in about 5 or 10 minutes at the most. Maybe less. A massive Kerbal retirement home. No, that comes later. They're not old enough yet. So, I know you guys want to see this get into orbit. Well, there are several things to bear in mind, first of all. Number one, the frame rate is going to be low. Which means I have to use MechJeb. I ain't going to sit here for 20 minutes and try to pilot it at 1 frame a second. Not happening. So, we're going to use MechJeb to send it up. The second thing to bear in mind is that this launch is going to be a lot slower than those bottle rockets people send up. Why? Because there's a slight problem with heat. You'll see as we go up. And one slight issue as well. Because the pad isn't big enough and because the pad isn't level, we have had to hack gravity. Hack gravity is on so that it settles on the pad properly. No other way of doing it. As you can see, we have 3 sets of boosters hanging over the edge there. That is not a launch pad. That is a micro launch pad. Launch pad for bottle rockets filled with water and compressed air. That is what that launch pad's for. Even launching from the runway doesn't help us, because the runway just can't take the weight. And not only that, if the weight doesn't get it, we're still bigger than the runway. So, no other choice. The good thing is, if I was building this on an EPL pad, say on Minmus, I could build the entire thing and we could overhang the pad to our heart's content. Or if I built this in space, I could build it even bigger. So, we can't launch without using hack gravity. Launching with hack gravity invalidates the launch. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to whack spacebar. As soon as the engines confirmed ignite, I'm going to unhack gravity. That way the engines will be taking the weight of the rocket and not the launch pad. You know, we are in sandbox, so I don't mind damaging the launch pad. I just don't want to damage the rocket. So, if somebody knows of a mod that will give us a super huge launch pad that's nice and flat, then I'll use that. Until then, gotta do it this method. I think most people's rockets are, what, 5 tons? Yeah, about 1/12 of the weight of this thing. This thing is that big, I actually have to move the root part to one side of the VAB just to get to one of the outer boosters. It is that big that I cannot have the top or the bottom inside the work area of the VAB at any given moment. I actually have to move it around. It's big. and it's going into orbit. So, getting ready here. Mech jab set. Give us our nav ball, please. Thank you. 3, 2, 1, let's go to space. There you go. Hack gravity is now disabled. And now we sit back and we watch the numbers, because we're going to have to do some work in a bit. Also, I want people to keep an eye on the altimeter at the top, because at 11,000 something weird happens. Most people don't notice it, because around about the 10,000 mark their rockets like to flip out. There is a reason for this. There is a distinct atmospheric loss between 9 and 11,000. So when this thing hits the altitude at 11,000, hits the air again at 11,000, you can visibly see it shake under the stress. Keep an eye out. How long did this take to build? Well, roll complete. How long did it take to build? Well, that's just it. Months, years, depending on how you want to look at it. It all comes down to fine-tuning your building skills, being precise about where you put things, and then spamming a load of space tape. So for those that don't know, that new little bar at the top that's green and yellow that's going into red, that would be an indication of how hot parts are getting. Which means we have to throttle limit. And unfortunately, Mech Jab, even though it has prevent overheats, that is designed for engines, not parts overheating due to atmospheric friction. Helpful, guys, helpful. Limit to terminal velocity on this is pretty much useless, because there are no parts that would survive getting you to terminal velocity. I should also point out I do have deadly re-entry installed, although it's not set to my usual aggressive standards. So well into the red on temperature. Just nicely bringing it down. See, all you people that like to fly those pop bottle rockets and just go whizzing up through the atmosphere and really don't care. Don't even notice that your rocket's getting hot. So keep an eye on everything. Nuts. Looks like I just assigned 20 cables to Oblivion. I'm calling game glitch. Now, how can there possibly be a structural failure at that point? I'm calling game glitch. Most G-force endured 2.2G. I mean, really? So what killed them then? If it's only 2.2G, what caused the container to rip off its mount? Yeah. Just me on the DMP? Let's try this again. Have to very quickly hack the gravity before it tries to enable physics. Go away. Well, it's not depleted, it's because you haven't updated. So we're going to wait for the physics to enable, which it's just done, and then we let it settle on the pad for a mo. Just a perfect time for drinking coffee. Okay, that should have settled, so we're going to do exactly the same procedure again. So, 3, 2, 1, don't explode. I think this time we won't push it quite so close to the edge. Maybe that'll help. It doesn't help that those containers really aren't aerodynamic. So it's commencing its roll. nice, graceful roll. Yeah, no. The G-forces on those outer boosters is ridiculous when it rolls. Thankfully there's no Kerbals in them. It's coming for you. Oh, darn it. I wish you wouldn't do that. Alright, so we're starting to get a little bit on the warm side. Ooh. So, oh yeah, 450 something parts. So, let's take a look at this thing, shall we? The booster's down here. Well, the engine at the bottom is a Space Y booster, scaled from 5 meters to 10 meters, using tweak scale. The tank above it is also a Space Y tank, and it is rescaled from 5 meters also to 10 meters. And same with that tank, and that one. So we have 3 rings of 6 10-meter boosters, and in the middle there is one 10-meter tank with a 10-meter engine at the bottom, and on top of that is life support. The black bits in the middle, if we zoom in, we have those things there are the EPL launch pads, 8 of them, and then we have 2 rings of 2x4 containers of rocket parts, full. Starting Delta V somewhere around about 8,000, 8,500 I think it was. And first stage separation, and no boom this time. Oops, that one. Bye bye. Bye guys. They separated properly this time. Bring our throttle down again before we overheat. So, 6 10-meter tanks down. 13 to go. Although, we don't want to lose all of them to get into orbit. This is designed to go interplanetary. So, passing 12,000, who spotted the shimmy, wiggle and vibration at 11,000? As it slams back into the atmosphere. I should also point out that the original rocket was fueled with 10 million units of LFO. That's 4,500 units of liquid fuel and 10 million units. So that's 4.5 million units of liquid fuel, 5.5 million units of oxidizer. Now, you're going to be wondering and asking, CW, why haven't you turned over yet? Because this is a heavyweight rocket. Those that are launching the pop bottles can turn over pretty much right from liftoff. However, the longer that this thing spends in the atmosphere, the more fuel it's going to burn to fight the atmosphere. So up till 20,000, very shortly, it will go straight up, and then at 20,000 it'll start turning over. There we go. As you can see, it's already hit the max dynamic pressure limits. That way the rocket doesn't snap in two, or 450 pieces. Something this big is not exactly easy to turn. It really doesn't like turning. But that's okay. I have some supersized vernier engines to make sure it does actually turn. Although, don't expect this to turn on the dime. And if you tried to measure it, I'm pretty sure the dime would not survive. I'd also like to note that the time up here does in fact now start to go yellow when it's not processing updates from the DMP server. That's weird. I just noticed we've dropped some frames. Oh well. Thank you for the follow, Endima. But Endima. I think that's how you pronounce it. My apologies if I've butchered it. As you can see, there is a slight amount of wiggle. But then again, I'm really not surprised. So, the fun bit's going to come further up in the orbit when we have to accelerate downrange. That's when we start generating impressive amounts of heat. But at that point, we kind of have to throttle up, and we don't have a choice about it. Well, we do have a choice. But it's not a good choice. So, what is the mobile EPL actually designed for? Well, the conventional methods for colonization is that you launch a ship from the KSC, like we've done with this one. You put it in orbit around Kerbin. You plot an intercept with whatever planet. You do an amazing amount of burning to be able to intercept it. And then you wait for a couple of 100 days or so. And when you get there, you execute another burn to trap yourself in an orbit. And then you do another burn to slow yourself down and deorbit so that you can land on the planet. Then you land on the planet, and then you set up whatever you need to do. However, with that method you have to do it every single time. With an EPL pad, or pads in this case because there's 8 of them, you send one ship over, and provided you take with you enough rocket parts to build the colony, to manufacture the rocket parts, then you can deploy the entire colony from orbit around the planet. So you execute the transfer once, you park the platform in orbit, and then you build your base in orbit and drop it down onto the planet. What mod provides the heat bar? Bear with me. I've forgotten the name of it. Oh, stage separation. Don't go boom. Don't go boom. Don't go boom. Don't go boom. There's a good boy. It's called critical temperature gauge. It's on the mods and plugins library in the forums. This bar shows you the temperature of the hottest part on your ship, the one that's closest to exploding, because I have deadly re-entry installed. It's not set to my usual difficulty, but it'll do for now. if you want to know what mods I have installed, a list is now in chat. The versions may have been updated. In fact, they will have been updated in some cases. There is a mod that I highly recommend. It was released last night by a fellow streamer called Oaktree42. It is a mod that changes the astronaut complex. It allows you to hire Kerbals with specific traits. So no longer are you guessing what Kerbals are. You can set whether they are male or female. You can set whether they are pilot, scientist or engineer. You can set the amount of courage they have. You can set the amount of cowardice they have. You can set whether they are fearless. And then you can hit hire, and it will hire that Kerbal for you. But not only that, the best thing is, if you are playing career and you're doing any sort of colonization work with MKS, OKS or EPL, then you will need a lot of engineers to make your stuff work properly. With the conventional way of doing it, you are talking millions of Kerbal dollars per Kerbal just for one outpost. However, with Oaktree's Astronaut Complex mod, you actually have a more sensible cost per Kerbal. It is what I have used to equip this ship with engineers. What would have taken me 10 minutes to do with the stock method has taken me about 2 minutes with Oaktree's mod. So please go over to the forums and take a look at it. If you don't like it, you can always pull it out. The Kerbals are stored in the saved game file the same way as any other Kerbal is. There is no difference with them. Well, we're above 70,000. We can go and increase the throttle a touch. We don't want to increase it too much because otherwise, well, parts have a general tendency of integrating themselves with each other. And then that usually means Kerbal deaths. And a few fireballs. But it's not spectacular at all. So we want this thing to head on up to 200 kilometers. Gently does it. He says at a TWR of 1.9. 1.9 G, baby, yeah. As you can see by the vessel mass at the bottom, down here, we've gone from 61 kilotons down to, well, coming up for 15.5 kilotons. Most of the mass is fuel. So yes, my launch profile is very, very, very obscure. Certainly not what they teach you. But as you can see, it works quite nicely. So, fighting gravity is pretty much done. It's hovering there around about 100 kilometers for quite some time as it picks up speed. Oh, you're going to need RCS to help you with this. And a little blip on the time warp stops any unwanted rotation in the wrong direction, which for some reason has a general tendency to happen. Not quite sure why. So, just above 12 kilotons now, and we just need to burn 155 meters per second to circularize the orbit. Once the orbit is circularized, we'll go ahead and start activating things. One thing that it is also worth pointing out, and that is I have remote tech installed. And this vessel has a remote tech signal processor on it, and it has more than 6 Kerbals in it, which means that it also functions as a remote tech outpost, which means I don't have to worry about satellite dishes pointing at planets and where those planets are in the solar system and all the rest of it. It's an outpost. All I do is deploy 3 repeaters going around the planet, and it's covered for remote tech. Make life simple, and why the heck not? You're going to launch something big, make sure it does everything. If it doesn't do anything, you need to redesign it. Also, that reminds me, NDMAR. When you configure that bar, there is a settings panel. If you use deadly re-entry, make sure you go into the settings and enable the deadly re-entry support. Right, just a circularization burn now. No problem. You might also, well, you won't be aware, but I have 2 scheduled streams at the moment. We have Mod Mondays, which is on a Monday evening, my time. Mod Mondays covers things to do with the mods, installing them, what they do, behind the scenes of the mods, and things that can be changed within the mods. It also includes how to create your own parts, to edit existing parts, so on and so forth. No, I'm not going to bother with 0.7 meters per second. It's fine just like that. And stop rotating now. Where's my smart SAS? And on Wednesdays, I have Kerbalverse Wednesdays, which is everything to do with the Kerbalverse. Changing planets, its orbits. Because I don't run around in a Kerbalverse that's stock. That's why I need something big. That's why I need so much Delta V. For a start with, if I can see it. No, don't do that. There we go. That is the Mun. If that is the Mun, what's that? That blob there is Mimbus. Changed it so it orbits the Mun. That's not all I changed. Let's go take a look. Oh, we seem to have a new orbit here. And that is Gilly. I moved Gilly. It now orbits Kerbin in a highly eccentric orbit, which just so happens to cause complete havoc with satellites. Yeah, the orbit drops down, has a perigee of 800 kilometers. So the magnetic field from the gravity field from Gilly has a general tendency to make satellites get flicked out. And in the case of that one, it's well, it's going to be escaping the Kerbals SOI. It was a close call, and it just got launched straight out. Going out even further, we have another one that's on an escape trajectory, probably out of the Kerbalverse itself by the looks of it. Plenty of asteroids. We need more. And there's one there that got flung out, and one over there. And that is our Kerbal verse. Completely non-standard orbits. And not only that, but one of those planets is actually orbiting the Sun the wrong way compared to Kerbin. They certainly don't teach you how to do an intercept with a planet going in the opposite direction. But I'll teach you. So we have Elu there on a really wild orbit. There's of course Joule. That one there is Duna. Dres is over there. Eve is there. It looks like the same orbit, doesn't it? I'm afraid it just isn't true. And of course Moho is there. If we take a look at Joule, yep, even the planets of Joule are not how they're supposed to be. So, there's Tylo, there's Bop, there's Lathe, there's Vol, and there's one missing. Well, it's not missing. It's there. That's Pol. In quite a low orbit around Joule itself. Just to make things fun. That is what I call a hard Kerbal-verse. This is hard mode KSP. And that's the way, I like it, Anyway. Ooh, extreme close-up. Oh, we now need to activate some systems. First of all, let's get rid of that. Activate kill rotation. So let's open up space plasma collectors. Oops, didn't recognise my click. Now we open up the collector itself. Collecting at 0.2 each. Next up, we want to activate the refinery. Get rid of the nav ball. As you can see, liquid fuel oxidizer is slowly going up. When we turn the RCS off at least anyway. And now we want the atmosphere recyclers. And the waste recyclers. And then finally we can go ahead and start the reactor. Go away. Yep. And hey presto, she's up and running. So that's two of them I have in orbit. One's going inward, one's going outward. Is looking at you. So as you can see, Delta V is slowly coming up. Very, very slowly. It will take quite some time. But the best thing is, the launch windows, I have absolutely no idea when they are. You can take the rule book for interplanetary transfers and pretty much throw it out the window. And then you can slice it up into the size of postage stamps and burn it. You can take the Delta V map and, yeah, this is a family friendly free stream, so I can't actually say what I was thinking. Eat it! There you go, yes. You can take the Delta V map and you can eat it. Because insane amounts of Delta V are required to transfer from Kerbin. But here's the best bit. While it's waiting for its new sets of transfer windows, it's refueling itself from the space plasma that's all around it. While it is transferring out to go and meet its destination, the collectors are working, the refinery is working, and it's refueling itself. Slowly, but still doing it. And that's why that thing is colossally heavy. Anyone in chat have any questions, any comments, any constructive criticism? My ears are always open. In the meantime, while we're waiting for chat to catch up with the stream, I'm going to take a quick look at an interplanetary transfer. Let's see if MechJeb even stands a snowball in hell's chance of calculating it. No problem. You're welcome back anytime. I will of course still be streaming for a while. Maybe an hour. Well, let's have a look at Eve, shall we? That might not be tonight. Actually, that can stay there. I already have 2 in orbit. The launch that you just saw is the second, obviously. Right, according to this, there is a window in 139 days, and the transit duration is 168 days. Do I even want to know how much Delta V this is going to cost? Or even if it has calculated it correctly? 900 meters per second Delta V. That doesn't seem right to me. Okay. 900 Delta V. Okay, what about if we say as soon as possible? There we go. Oh, that is the only transfer window. I don't think the even with the updated gravity physics with KSP 1.0, I don't think the ships actually create their own gravity field. Even ones the size of this. So, even if I wanted to transfer out to Eve as soon as possible, the only way to do it is a manual intercept to literally go retrograde, because according to this, there is only one window. And that would be because Eve, don't tell anyone this, but Eve's the one that's rotating the wrong way. Because don't forget, this is a DMP server. The people that are going to be playing on this probably haven't watched my videos, which they should have done, because I've told them all the surprises in my videos. But don't tell them about Eve. Shh, our secret. There's another planet that's rotating the wrong way, but I'm not going to tell anyone about that one. So that's going inward, just for sheer fun. Can it calculate? Departs in 2 years. Transit duration 405 days. Delta V required. 3.688 kilometers per second. You know, we can actually make that because we have that already. So we can launch literally right now and head out there. What's the lowest Delta V transfer? 1 kilometers per second. Don't forget, this is the first time I've looked at doing the transfers in this Kerbal-verse. Right, just for fun, let's have a look at Joule. This is why you really do need MechGem. Right, lowest Delta V. Departure in 1 year, 166 days. Transit duration 2 years, 331 days. Ouch. Why? Right, ASAP. Departure anytime now. Transit duration is still 3 years. But man, that's a lot of Delta V. So the lowest Delta V is 2 kilometers a second. And to get there as soon as possible, that's one heck of a jump in Delta V. Take a look at NoHo. Delta V required 2.3 kilometers per second. Departure in 118 days. Transit duration 112 days. So that's not too bad. Can we get there anytime faster? Yep, 2.5 kilometers per second. We can depart right now and get there in 176 days. That's not bad. Dress. Let's take a look at dress. 1.3 kilometers per second. Depart in 1 year, 245 days. Transit duration 315 days. What about if we say as soon as possible? Alt for 1.6 kilometers per second. We can depart anytime now. Transit duration is still 1 year, 138 days. That's a little bit of an issue. That's Joule. Where is... There it is. It would be on the furthest point out, wouldn't it? Elu. What's it going to take to get to Elu? Two kilometers per second. Departing in 328 days. Transit duration 5 years, 262 days. Wowzers. What about as soon as possible? 5,000 Delta V. Depart now. Transit duration 6 years. So to get out to Elu, we need something that has life support for 6 years. Assuming we go out by a cable. That could get interesting, he says, scratching his head. 6 years? Okay. Thank God for time warp. Now, the next question is, how much life support do I actually have on these ships? Because I can't remember off the top of my head. What is it zoomed in on? Huh. Food remaining 3,163 days. You don't need to worry about water and oxygen, because not only do we have filters that convert CO2 back to oxygen and wastewater to water, but small amounts of oxygen and water are collected by the plasma collectors. Very small amounts. So 3,163 days, that's what, 5 years? So we could probably get out to Elu with one of these. I wonder. Oh, that gives us local only. Well, there we go. I think I have designed these ships properly. Now, they do also have docking ports. .25 meter docking ports. So, if, for example, I needed to build a greenhouse, I could actually build it on one of the pads and dock it to itself. On top of that, these things do have a logistics hub, which will allow us to transfer resources from one ship to another that's in the same sphere of influence. So once we do set up a colony and it starts mining and producing excessive resources, then we can send supplies back to the ship to restock it, and then move on to the next planet, and the next, and the next, and the next, and colonize the entire Cableverse. Which you gotta love. So you know what? I'm going to take a screen cap. That one. Actually, you know. Yeah, it's not too bad to start with. Wait for it to finish uploading. go and grab that one. I think that's going to be my new desktop wallpaper. So how long are we going for? An hour and a half. Well, I'm going to call the stream there. We've done what we wanted to set out to do. We've set the record. Pretty much a good night's work. So that's all from me. If you have liked this stream, feel free to give me a follow. If there's anything you think that could be done better, then feel free to drop me a message. I'll take any constructive criticism. If you just want to hurl abuse, don't bother, you'll just be blocked. So, tomorrow night I will be streaming Mod Mondays, where we will look at Oak Tree 42's Astronaut Complex mod in more detail. So after that, yes, that won't take too long. So after that, we'll be looking at modular fuel tanks and configuration for setting up modular fuel tanks. Because that's kind of something that I need to do, because I haven't got the tank configurations that I really want. Basically, I just don't have big tanks for some of the resources, so I want bigger. Much bigger. On Wednesday is Kerbal Wednesdays. What will I be doing? You know, I think I'm going to leave it as a surprise. Definitely a surprise. So between them, I will probably have unscheduled streams, which is usually me doing a lot of testing work. Because don't forget, I'm testing my mod, which is CW Tech, which adds in a load of resources throughout the galaxy, throughout the Kerbal-verse, as well as the parts needed to collect those resources, refine them, and turn them into something usable. Now I just thought, oops, that one. I do actually have lights on this thing. That looks a bit better. There we go. My new desktop wallpaper. That's all from me. I'm CW. Tonight, we did have an accident. We did explode and we did kill Kerbals. But that was just in a dream. It never happened. Bye for now.